Black people truly have no allies, and solidarity is really out the window in my mind for everyone under the POC umbrella. But especially when it comes to black people, it appears that we are just the can everybody wants to kick around. A Native woman came online and said that black people are settlers. We are the settlers under the settler colonialism.
Black Americans' claim of being the original indigenous people of this land was actually somewhat predicted in this article. There are differences between being oppressed and being a settler. If people are unable to distinguish between the two, then they think Black Americans, but also other settler immigrants. It is a fact that we are all affected by colonization, but by saying that we are all colonized, the implication is that no one is a settler, which can ignore the fact that some people of color can still be settlers on indigenous land.
You may be thinking to yourself, how does that make any sense? Because a Native definitely knows that African Americans are a product of enslaved people. But she's tying it to all those pretendians who saying that they're the original inhabitants of this land. They're the original Indians. They're the natives of this land, even though that's not all of us. So to take a claim that's made by a small percentage of black people in this country and then say that all black people are settlers is really crazy. Settler colonialism is a logic and structure using colonial rule to overtake an environment and replace it with your own people and replace the indigenous people, which has happened here. Black people did not settle in America by choice. Anybody that has settled around the world under the imperialistic guise that happened during the Great Scramble for Africa, for China, India, Australia, and Americas, that was Europeans. We did not settle here. We were forced here by slavery, a system of slavery, one of the biggest migration of human bodies in human history. And we then spent hundreds of years here under forced labor, while at the same time, I can hold two truths. At the same time, your ancestors were killed, were taken out by biological warfare, your land was stolen, there were land grabs, you were forced into settlements, you were forced into containment areas. That is true, but we didn't do that. We didn't take your land over. If anything, the Malian kingdom definitely visited America hundreds of years before Europe. Scandinavians visited the America hundreds of years before Columbus. But the French, the Dutch, the English, they stayed. The Spanish, they stayed. This conversation is crazy. I feel like every day there's always something new that's coming up about Black Americans that people feel the need to use us to drive their point home. Two things can be true. This can be your land, you can be colonized, you can be displaced, and settlers took your land. I can be the product of colonialism by forced migration and slavery. Wow. Because the pretendians are coming online saying that they're the natives, you're saying that we all are settlers. I've heard it all.
Hello, welcome to Global Gist with BJ. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing well, right? So over the years, a lot of people have raised concern. Oh, why are the Black Americans no longer supporting immigrants? They no longer support us anymore. They don't like us. Why are they always angry? Why are they always jealous? Let me tell you, that is what we are going to discuss today, right? So now let me tell you. During the course of these videos, if you don't leave, you're going to find out why these people have decided to say, oh, we're no longer part of you guys. Something cost it. So Black Americans have marched, protested, and stood in the front lines, not just for themselves, but for immigrants, for refugees, and for the voiceless. But today, something is changing. There's a new conversation happening, and it's bold, uncomfortable, and powerful. Should Black Americans stop supporting immigrants who don't support them? From social media debates to real life clashes, many are now saying, enough is enough. Let's talk about it. So watch these videos and then you're going to see why a lot of them are actually saying no. And if they're even saying no at all, you're going to find out that when you're back, right, we're going to hear from me and hear my own opinion. Do not forget to always subscribe to this very beautiful channel that keeps you educated on what, you won't see in the media, right? I'll be back.
African Americans are starting to act like white people, specifically being xenophobic and this grudge we have against other Black immigrants. I understand it's coming out of frustration and fear of being displaced, but we are not going anywhere. And clapping for somebody else does not dim our shine. We have been and will probably continue to be the dominant or majority group, black group in this country for years to come. And oftentimes other black immigrants tend to assimilate into our culture by like the second generation. So the discourse about there not being enough black American representation in New York or in the beauty industry is irrelevant. Remember, it was our hard work, our progression that even allowed for not just black immigrants, but all immigrants to be able to come here and find even a smidge of the success that they do. So when you see a Nigerian influencer, a Haitian influencer, big up her, but also remember to big up us too, because we still here. We ain't got.
And the reason why a lot of you guys do not like immigrants and you guys are all here for the ICE series is because immigrants come here and they utilize the system more than you. You can find someone that came from another country, come here, work a CNA job for years, save all their money, they own a house, they own a car, they probably have houses back home. And for somebody who is here, you were born here, you're able to utilize all these resources and you didn't do anything with it. And you guys, this is why you guys come here and be like, oh, all the immigrants are taking the jobs. And especially some of you guys, some of you immigrants as well. You guys came here, wasted your time. And when you guys see someone else come here, utilizing all the resources, you guys get so upset. You don't know why them come here. Them need to just go away and we hope ICE pick them up. Everything, for every reason you guys hate on immigrants is the reason why you guys like ICE. And the truth is, even if they should get removed from this country, they still achieved more than you, and some of you guys are too lazy to go ahead and go and achieve something. That is the truth.
I saw this bubbling last night, so no surprise that it erupted today. It was kind of like this new version of diaspora wars that I really haven't seen, but it is a direct cause of the back and forth that we see on the internet. Okay, so the arguments that I kept seeing were tied to black Americans, primarily descendants of enslaved people, loudly saying, I am not doing anything, protesting, engaging with anything tied to immigration. ICE is not coming to my door. And then I would see responses from black people, most often children of immigrants or immigrants, saying, no, we need to tie into black solidarity. They are coming after black people as well, black immigrants. And I was like, I think y'all have missed some chapters about what's been happening and what is causing so many black people, black descendants of enslaved people, to kind of dig into this identity and to this group and to only want to focus on the issues that impact black folks who've been here forever, who didn't get their 40 acres and a mule. And I want to keep saying, I do not agree with all these sentiments, but I've seen how we got here. I think it's important to understand. So the anti-immigration kind of push in this country is not limited to white people. I'm gonna say it again. The anti-immigration push is not limited to white people. The America First narrative also speaks to black Americans who are digging into their identity as American. It speaks to them, and it also speaks to Latinos. And so my friend on here, Howdy Politics, spoke to this so well after the election, after people were hurt at how much growth and gains Trump made with the Latino population. He was like, people were like, he been talking about y'all. What do you mean? And so one of the things that she said that I have been tapping into, and it's been keeping in the back of my mind, is that the Democrats, how they try to reach that population is centered solely around immigration. And she was like, a lot of them don't connect to that because they are generations removed from that, or their families have been here for generations. They've been here since their state was Mexico. And so this does not connect to them. They connect to being American. They see themselves as American, and they almost are offended when you try to use that story to get them engaged. And so I have seen this same sentiment in black communities. And I'm like, I don't know how people miss that. The anti-immigration sentiment has been strong in black communities. They just voted for Democrats because Democrats were aligned with things that were going to impact the black community. And they were also, okay, yeah, we'll support that as well. But the anti-immigrant sentiment is very, very strong. And one of the main ways we saw this happen was Greg Abbott, the governor here, I hate that man, but him sending migrants up north to make it, to challenge the resources of a place like New York and Chicago, put that right at their doors. And so you had black people busting down their politicians' doors in Chicago and New York saying, you can't be giving our resources to these people who are not citizens. And so this anti-immigrant sentiment is very strong. So when you're saying black solidarity, it's not persuasive because they're tied into, black American solidarity. We've been here. They're giving resources to y'all that I don't agree with. And so I think people have missed that. That like America First sentiment, there are variations of that basically in every group. It comes in different shades because every group is so different, but there are variations of America First for Latinos, for black Americans, probably also Asians as well. The other thing too, I want us to be honest here, because I think we see diaspora wars on the internet as kind of like a kiki. It's annoying, it's childish, whatever. But we have to acknowledge there are real impacts to that. That has caused Black Americans, who are, again, descendants of enslaved people, to dig in to this personality and to be more tribal and to want to pull themselves and distinguish themselves from the collective Blackness. And so when I see people who are immigrants saying, but no, we're all Black, we're all Black, we're all Black, they're not connecting to that anymore. They're tied into the identity of being Black American, and your problems are your problems. Those are problems that are unique to you as an immigrant. That ain't my problem. I've been here for generations. This is their thought process. You see what I'm saying? And so to me, this is tied. Like, we can sit here and kiki and think it's childish, but like, there are real consequences of that. I talk to people who I've seen this tribalism come up in the Black community in ways I never saw before. Like, the most basic example on dating apps now, you can put your identity, and it gives you like 100 different examples of, like, I'm Caribbean American, I'm a Black American descendant of enslaved people on dating apps. That should tell you how far reaching this people want to parse out these different identities is. California has started including that on documents, wanting to get more data about how people identify, because we really haven't seen that before. And so, y'all, like, this has been something that's been happening. The signs have been there, and so now you're seeing the results of that. How we combat this, I don't have an answer to that, but I think it's so important that people understand this. The other thing is, I'm not saying this is a negative thing, because I get it, you got to ride for yours, but the people I see being the loudest about Black solidarity for immigrants are the children of immigrants. And so people are dismissing you all because they're like, oh, they're only looking out for their own. Are they looking out for me as well? Now, the people I've seen are consistent. Like, they are consistently about Black issues, no matter who's a Black person. They are consistent about supporting people from the continent. Like, however we got to different parts of the world. But people don't see that. And so I think people have been in their own bubble. Because, like, I mean, I'm Black American, a descendant of enslaved people, and I have friends who fall down the ADOS, FBA kind of alt-right pipeline. So I've been hearing this rhetoric and seeing this pick up for years. I have even my boomer family members who are strong Democrats, who are very empathetic Christians, who believe in immigration from a Christian standpoint. Even they have been like, oh no, we can't be giving our resources to the people that are not from here. We've been here. And so I'm making this point because I think some of you all are jumping in here and focusing solely on Black solidarity without looking at the different interests, concerns, and things that are eroding that. There is tribalism in our community that I've never seen in my lifetime. We are going to see our voting block kind of split up a bit, in my opinion, if we don't address these different things and come to a conclusion that benefits all. If we don't see this kind of collective good. But that's what I've been seeing. This is not meant to be xenophobic. This is just what's real, what's happening, and what is a common viewpoint sentiment within the communities that I exist in.
If you are a Black person who's interested in liberation, then the unfortunate truth is that you're also going to be advocating for people who are anti-Black, sexist, and homophobic. I'm an immigration attorney. I have a bunch of clients who came from places where they were harmed because they were advocating for women being able to have equal rights and go to school. But then they came to the United States, and I'm the expert over their case, and they treat me like shit because their idea of equality for women did not include me having authority or expertise over them. That's not unique to now. The same was true during the Civil Rights period. People complained about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King being rebel rousers. Those people still got the right to vote. They still were able to buy property in places they were usually excluded from. They still reap the benefits of the work they complained about. And the same is true now. So if you're not interested in liberation, then yeah, you can just sit back and watch the world burn. But if you are a Black person interested in liberation, it doesn't really benefit you to sit around and say, the Latinos voted for Trump, let them suffer the repercussions. It's not helpful. It's not going to get you to liberation.
Can you please explain why people are mad at Venezuelan immigrants? Well, it was a combination of many things, right? It was a combination of a really bad economy, right? People were really struggling to pay for food. I mean, the American people were hurting, right? And for the first time, the American people under an already bad economy got to witness the government bring here people by the truckloads, man, and housing them in 5-star hotels in New York City, right? To the point where a lot of people wouldn't even be able to afford a night at a hotel like that, right? Feeding them, right? Them complaining about the food that they were being fed, right? After they're already being housed and being ungrateful, right? So then they came and gave them food stamps, thousands of dollars in food stamps, then thousands of dollars in cash, man. They were paying for the Ubers all around the city, right? And these people did nothing but complaining. They wanted more, they wanted more, they wanted more. Then they started squatting, right? Taking people's apartments, people's houses, vacant homes, and trying to make it their own, you know? Then they started committing a ton of crimes. And again, it was the level of entitlement, the laziness, and how violent some of them were. people got to see that firsthand, and then they were bragging about it online. Yeah, they were bragging about it online, man. And some of them were even making fun of Americans for being stupid because they came here to get taken care by the government, and they just wanted more and more and more. It was crazy. I never seen shit like that. I've never met people like that before in my life until these people came over here. And apparently, it's not these immigrants themselves. It's everybody from Venezuela. From what I hear, none of the surrounding countries want nothing to do with those people, because as soon as they go into their countries, they do the same shit, start committing crimes. You just want the government to take care of them, and they don't want to do anything. They don't want to lift a finger. They don't want to work. You know, it's freaking crazy. A lot of them here having kids so they can have the birthright citizenship, which is why Trump is getting rid of that. I don't know if he got rid of it already, but he said he was going to get rid of it for those reasons, man, because these people were trying to get benefits from the kids that they were having here. And again, they were all talking about it online, man. It was crazy. And it frustrated the people. Everybody was broke. Everybody's pocket was hurting. People were struggling to pay for food. And then these people come over here and they begin giving all of that. And then they're creating all these problems and all this chaos and all these issues. And the government don't got money for their people. But these people over here is like, you know, it just got crazy. And everybody just got fed up, stressed out, and angry, man. So that was pretty much it. That's the reason why people didn't like these people, man. Many fucking reasons.
Why aren't black people helping Latinos riot against ICE in LA? Let's talk about it. There are 3 types of black people who are sitting these protests out. Number 1, the black Trump supporter who voted for deportations. Number 2, the Kamala Harris supporter who voted overwhelmingly for Kamala and then saw that Latinos overwhelmingly voted for Trump, and they're like, y'all need our help now? Oh, hell no. And number 3, the older black people who are like, what are y'all up to? Oh, and there might be one other type of black person too. The kind of black person that hears something like this.
I don't think black people have a right to tell white people or Hispanics what they can and cannot say. And that means if a black person wants to use the N-word, that means a white person also can use the N-word, because all lives matter, not just Black lives matter. So with that said, we need to stop cancel culture. It is anti-American. It is anti-free speech. And if you can say the N-word, so can I, whether you like it or not. It doesn't affect your freedom, but you're sure affecting mine by telling me that I can't say it because I'm not black. So, make the N-word great again.
Okay, well, how about we make ICE great again too, bitch? It's a little weird that not only are Latinos pressed, but white folks are asking, why aren't black people out there protesting? Y'all usually ask, why are we protesting? It's almost as weird as this roll off full of rocks that just so happen to be right in LA, right where the riots are, all cut off evenly, no construction around, just so happen to be there so people can start throwing them. Is that why y'all want black people out there? So y'all can get staged video footage to roll on cable news all night long showing unity and violence against Trump? Stop trying to use us. And all I keep hearing is, blacks and browns, we gotta stick together. Blacks and Latinos, we're brothers, we're one. Okay, well, I'm gonna need you to have that outlook for more than just rioting and violence. I'm gonna need you to have that in the job market too, because blacks can't get a job in LA. Latinos hire Latinos, whites hire Latinos. If you don't come to LA already in a job that moved you to LA, or you own your own business, you're not working in LA. You know who's working in LA? All the people that they want us to protest to come here. So black people, the next time you're asked, why aren't you out there protesting with Palestinians or with illegal immigrants? Just let them know you put in the same amount of effort that they put in to get black reparations.
Everyone is invited to this scenario. So everybody come on in. Immigrants and black Americans, okay? Everybody come on in. First gens, second gens, everybody come on in. So it's not the fault of many immigrants that they don't know what they entered into when they came into the United States of America. Some knew already, but many don't know that they're entering a war that has never ended. So in this scenario, the elites, I'm going to say the YT soups, have never gotten over their anger when Black America won multiple battles on the soil. From the Montgomery bus boycott to the civil rights movement and all the wins there, to gaining rights for not just ourselves, to every single non-whites in the country. Okay. Also, the YT soups have never really even gotten over, and you can think about what's going on today. Okay, they've never really gotten over the fact that Black America was from this country, the most influential in helping end apartheid. We led that charge. Okay, we were the ones who led the charge from the United States of America. So they're still angry about that. So many battles have been won for Black America, non-whites around the globe, due to Black America. Okay, so many immigrant people don't know they're coming into a war that has really never ended, because we changed the livelihoods of the YT soups here. Okay, We became the very threat to it. Now, so because Black America won those battles, they said, okay, we're going to use the battle that they won against them. So what we're going to do is we're going to always try and hire and elevate all immigrants over Black America. Okay? This is not, I'm going to read you something unbiased that proves it, okay? This is already written about in the paper. They said it in the newspapers back in the day. I'm not making it up, okay? Yeah, we're going to just, whatever. Okay, so you want them to have rights? We're going to give them yours. That's basically what the YT suits are doing, okay? That's their chess move, to use immigrants against Black America. Now, it's our turn, and this is how they set up Black America, okay? Now, this is listen close. They want us to vote against the immigrant because they never really wanted immigrants over here, not non-white immigrants over here in the first place. I said this in another video. So they said, okay, so we're going to use them against Black America, and the immigrants are going to love and adore white tees, okay? And they sided with white tees a lot of times. They sided, and they used the same wording, verbiage. You would think they use the same things over and over against Black America. So, and they even decided to vote their own off the island. Okay, that's how much they love white tea. So now they're looking at Black America like this. So are you going to bow? Are you going to stop this fight for everyone's rights? Are you going to stop this? Because they've proven they don't love you. They love us. Why do they love us? Because we give them work. So here's the thing. You either vote with us to let them leave, to get them out of here, and don't push back. Because they already voiced how they felt about you anyway. We gave them ample time to say what we wanted them to say. So now you either vote with us and allow us to take away their rights so that you can have yours back. Because they're taking your jobs means no, we're giving them your jobs. That's what that means. Since you love them so much, we'll just give them your jobs. We'll give them your places in the universities. We'll give it to them. This is all because Black America is really strong and we don't fold. So this is that they're trying to put us between a rock and a hard place. And immigrants fell for it. Okay? So the same people they sided with want them out of here. And don't want them ever to come back and get citizenship. But see, this is what happened. It's even so bad. It's so bad. They know that an immigrant won't say what they need to say because they'll end up like Joy Reid. They got this thing hooked down. They got it hooked down. Okay? You're not doing what I told you to do. Oh no. We don't want that kind of immigrant. We want a docile one. So that we can put them against Black America, like the ones who voting against reparations. And so this is what's happening. Many immigrants have sided with Babylon. And unfortunately, they will regret the very day they sided with Babylon. Okay? Against the oppressed. See, that's biblical. That's biblical. It's right there in Revelation. You regret the day you side with Babylon against the oppressed. Just so you can feel your coin. Okay? And this is what's happening. That's a scenario. Now, I'm going to read something. Because many people don't know they entered a war that's not being fought like a regular war. But this is a war. It's been going on. That same Babylon that you side with is putting you out. And the way many want Black America to do something about it, you help them tie our hands. So that's the scenario. Now, the reason I call it a scenario, you can believe it or not. I'm not here to make you believe anything. I'm just telling you a scenario. And another thing, the YT suits understand that immigrants believe it's a gift to come here. When Black Americans, they know that Black Americans are owed. And so they play on the different perspectives, okay? Because Black Americans are owed. But they know that immigrants believe it's a gift. Take advantage, take advantage. Somebody's giving me a chance. When it was Black America who fought and built the nation. This is our country. Okay, so they play off the different perspectives because they are very different perspectives. One it is a gift, the other it's owed. White supremacy hates the power that Black solidarity helped open the door for immigrants. It's political. It fears Black leadership, Black-led coalitions. So they use divide and conquer as the playbook. While Black Americans have consistently shown up for other groups, the reverse is not always true. Many immigrants distance themselves from Blackness to gain privilege, displace Black people and opportunities meant to address past injustices, or worse, adopt anti-Black views to assimilate faster. White supremacy loves that outcome. It means it gets to punish Black America twice. For rising up and demanding justice and for extending justice to others. They're still angry at Black America immigrants. And they're angry at us for helping you.
African Americans used to bully the hell out of immigrant kids in school, especially Black immigrant kids. And I have to say it like that because I need your attention. And here's the other side of the diaspora conversation that I never had because the time wasn't right, but now I think it is. See, because this part of the conversation is always the more emotionally driven one. Because more often than not, the party being talked about are not ready to have this conversation, but I think it's important to have it now. With the Aubrey Wyatt's case making its rounds on TikTok, I think now is the best time to really put 2 and 2 together and get 4. And if you don't understand the Aubrey Wyatt's case, she was a young girl who got bullied heavily by 3 other girls in her school and ended up taking her own life. And obviously, she's not the only kid that ever did that. She's not the only person that endured this kind of torture, because that's what it is for a lot of people, torture. But bringing it back to the conversation of the diaspora, whenever I see myself opening rooms and doors to talk about specific sections of the issue, because that's how I like to tackle things, I often notice both parties try to dismiss the other party's pain because of this, that, or the third. And in this situation, I'm talking about African Americans constantly dismissing whenever Black immigrants say that they were severely bullied by African Americans. Now, this does not dismiss any anti-Blackness that Black immigrants had towards African Americans, and this does not also dismiss any anti-Blackness that African Americans had towards Black immigrants. Wholeheartedly, I believe that these behaviors subconsciously or consciously came from white supremacy. And still now, people are trying to educate themselves to get rid of their own anti-Blackness, including myself, who's a Haitian immigrant. And while I myself never experienced tremendous bullying from African Americans, I would be lying if I said I never saw it. I would be lying if I said that I didn't see Black immigrants like myself go through horrendous bullying. Regardless if we want to admit it to ourselves or not, these things can leave you with long-lasting traumas. And once more, it's not to excuse any anti-Blackness, but bullying is a form of abuse, even if it was kids doing it to kids. Because while I don't know Aubrey Wyatt, I did know people just like her. I did see people just like her, and I did hear of news of people just like her who ended up taking their own lives because of the constant bullying they faced. I know the talk of the diaspora is a sensitive subject, but I really want you guys to really step out of your own comfort for a moment and look at what we did as a whole. We did this to ourselves. The anti-Blackness that resides in us comes from white supremacy, yes, but we were the ones who enabled it. Whether you were a Black immigrant or whether you were African American, there are plenty of things that we used to think, we used to say, or we used to do to each other that's not okay. And I've been very hesitant to talk about this side of the conflict because I was so sure that I would get so much hate from it, but it's true. But it's true. And just because nowadays Afro beats are becoming a thing, people are more inclined to like Jamaican and Haitian culture and music, it doesn't mean that we didn't face such heinous bullying back then. I feel like as a Black community, we've moved past tolerating how diverse we are to accepting and enjoying how diverse we are. But that doesn't mean we don't have any scars from before. And I think we should be able to sit down and come together and reflect on our past actions and what we can do to change that, like now.
Racist Latino community coming for Black Americans. Now we have other people in the diaspora talking about, but Black people are being deported too. What about us? We're not trying to be divisive, but I'm also remembering how many of y'all were sitting back saying that we were lazy, that we had no culture, we didn't know where we came from, and claiming things that are actually in our culture as your own. And I'm still not over the fact that a lot of y'all feel like Juneteenth, y'all should be celebrated too. So for y'all to sit in the comments and then co-sign on with that community that's being racist towards Black people, Black Americans, especially talking about, I'm so upset that the Black people are saying that they're not a part of this fight. It's all of us because some of us are getting deported too. Babes, we're Black American. Remember the same demographic that y'all said that we always want to be the main character and that we're so xenophobic because whenever we sit back and defend ourselves against people saying shit about us, we're those people. So please stop making Black Americans feel like they have to be fucking patriotic. Leave us the fuck alone. Remember, all the rest of y'all thought that y'all were the better imports. We were the old imports. We were here before America was America. Okay? And that is not a call for the pretendians. So, yeah. Leave us out of the whole conversation. If y'all want to team up because y'all can't stand Black Americans, then team the fuck up. But the law is the law because there's the civil law and then there's also the criminal law. And some of them have broken the civil and the criminal. And for the Latinos, when I say, but we did Black Lives Matter, number one, you saying that is very racist because that's negating that Afro-Latinos exist. So let's start there. And then on top of that, Black Lives Matter was about under the law. Things were not being done under the law. Under the law. The deportation is happening because that is the law. We, the Black people, the Black community, we were not getting justice served. Killing people on the street is not a part of the rules of the land, baby. The rules of the land, just like any other country, you have to have a visa or citizenship to stay here for years. For years. So comparing it and saying that y'all fought with a student in Black Lives Matter, number one, the numbers weren't numbering, okay? And number two, that's negating the fact that y'all have Black people in your community. So it still goes back to you being racist. Because we were fighting for things that were actually due to us called due process. Maybe if you learned the rules of the land, you would know what due process means. And that's exactly what Black Lives Matter was fighting for us to actually have due process if somebody broke the law or if they didn't break the law and they were unjustly killed by the police. You being deported because you don't have proper documentation is just what's not clicking.
Welcome back, right? For years back, Black Americans have really been on the front lines for people, especially for the Blacks, right? I could remember when they were trying to deport Haitians, like some Black Americans actually stood up for Haitians and a lot of things during so many crackdowns. They're there for Africans, for even Africans. Yeah. But now they're getting to realize that these people don't even care about them. These people don't even give a damn about them. They keep even blackmailing them, calling them lazy, uneducated, akata, stuff like that, and all of that, treating them badly, right? When it's time to actually stand by them or for them, they stand with the other side, right? So now they decided, no, we're not going to do it anymore. We're not doing it again. We're tired of it. So right now it's time to actually fight for ourselves. After all, we're Americans, and we're actually saying no to illegal immigrants as well. So whether you're Black American or an immigrant, this conversation is long overdue. Because if we're not united, we are divided, and divisions only helps the system. So I ask you, do Black Americans have the right to say no? Or is it just a misunderstanding between family? I want you to drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you have ever felt used, silenced, or disrespected, this is your time to speak up. I'd actually like to hear this in the comment section. I'll read your stories, right? Do not forget to subscribe, like, share this video, right? So people can actually see it for more honest conversations on Black culture, politics, and power. Stick with Global Gist with BJ, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.